Once you have rated, sorted, and now finally edited all your top 30 images, adjusted the brightness, the contrast, adjusted the color balance, all that good stuff, what I want you to do is I want you to make me what we call a contact sheet. Now, a contact sheet, this actually comes, the term comes from way back in the day in darkroom photography, when you take your negatives, and of course, they were called negatives because all the tones and the colors were reversed, right? So what was white was black, what was black was white. So sometimes it was a little hard to look at them. Sometimes it was a little hard to kind of see what was going on there just because it was the reverse of what you actually had photographed. So they were in plastic sheets. You just slap them down on a piece of photographic paper in the darkroom, and you'd make a real and you press it down with a piece of glass, and you just make a print, okay, of just your negatives that were in contact with the paper, contact sheet. And then you could look at all your photographs in a positive with a magnifier and start making some better decisions as to which one you wanted to enlarge, that sort of thing. So that's where the word or the name contact sheet comes from, is darkroom days. Obviously, we're not going to be doing any of that. All you need to do, it's actually really simple. What you want to do is you're just going to highlight your top 30. So if I hold shift, wow, look at that. Perfect, okay? It says 30 items are selected right there, okay? I've got 30 of them selected. And then you're going to go over to the output here and just click. And now what it's going to do is it's going to allow you to create a file from all of these 30 images. Now, you can create a web gallery with the Bridge, which is actually really kind of cool, but we're going to be working on a PDF, okay? So I want to make sure PDF is selected, which it is if it's boxed, okay? See, web gallery is not boxed. And then what we're going to do is it'll be set up with international paper, seems to be the default, which is really annoying. So we're going to go to US and letter size, okay? So just regular 8.5 by 11. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go down here, and it says how many columns and how many rows. We want 3 across by 4 down. And don't check any of the other things. Then what you're going to do is you can just hit refresh preview, which I think is kind of silly because we haven't done a preview in the first place, so we're refreshing nothing right now. But you hit refresh, what it's going to do is it's going to take all those 30 pictures and it's going to combine them into a PDF. And you can take a look at, this is what the first page is going to look like. If there are 3 by 4, how many images are we going to get on the first page? 12. Very good. We can do multiplication. So you're going to get 12 on each page. That means 24 by the second page, which means the third page is only going to have 6 on it, but that's okay. Doesn't matter. We only want 30 pictures, no more. If something is wrong with this, then you would go change, play with these settings, and then you can go and hit the refresh preview, and it will change. So one of the other things that I think really helps me is if you go here to where it says header, and you add your name. Center it, and then you can see how that is right there in the preview already. But if I didn't want it, I could uncheck it, hit refresh preview, and then you'll notice now my name's gone. So this preview here really helps you figure things out. If you wanted to add a footer, you could just call us Project 1. That might help you too, because then you keep all these things, and there you go. So it's up to you. I do want your name on it, obviously, because what I'm going to do is this is going to be a small grade for your project, any of your projects, not just Project 1. You will always be required to hand in a contact sheet for me, and I will give it a grade based upon how well you were shooting. Were you shooting the required number of objects? I mean, did you really go through this and set up lights or set up a great object, or did you take the pictures while you were walking to the bus stop in the morning? Because I have a lot of people who do that too. And it's obvious. It's very obvious that that's what you were doing. And so that will reflect as part of that grade. It's usually a 25-point grade, so it's not, you know, a huge grade, but it is a grade nonetheless. Once you've got all this figured out, okay, all you're going to do, you don't need a watermark, you don't need playback, that's silly. You're just going to go down here, and it's going to say, whoops, and it says, okay, save. You do not want to have this checked, and here's why. Well, if you do, it'll try and open up the PDF that you've made in Adobe Acrobat. The last time I checked, and they have updated them since then, but last time I checked, Adobe Acrobat crashed on these computers, always, and it locked them up really good. So we're going to open it with a different program. So don't hit View PDF, just hit Save. And what's going to happen is this dialog is going to come up. It's going to look like this, okay? You're going to go and you're going to hit that little triangle right there. You do not want to save this on your desktop. We want to put it in the same folder as all the other the pictures that you're editing. So we're just going to click on Pen Media FS. We're going to go to Media Students, and you're going to find your folder. In my case, I'm going to go to Media Staff. Okay, and then I have my Pictures folder, and then I'm in the Firewood folder here. Now what I like to do is I'll just name it Project 1 _ contact sheet, just like that, okay? And then actually sometimes what I'll do is I'll put a little, I like the tilde, there's a little squiggly guy there. You can put an underscore in front of it or a dash, but I think the tilde is great. Why do you think I might want to put that in front of the contact sheet there? Yeah, John. Yeah, it's going to put it at the top or the bottom, depending upon which one you choose, okay? It separates it from all the images. This will help us a lot, okay? You know, that way you don't have to go looking through it, through all those photographs to find it. It's going to float to the top or the bottom because it goes alphabetical and numerical. So anyway, so there's my contact sheet. I'm going to hit Save. It's going to create the PDF. Takes a second or two, okay, or more. Is gathering all of your images and is putting them together on a sheet. This process, by the way, has become so much easier and quicker than it used to be. Just 2 or 3 years ago, when we had previous version of the Creative Suite by Adobe, I'm not kidding you, it would take a half an hour to create a contact sheet. It was ridiculous. So it says it's done, and you got to get out of the output. You're going to go back to your Essentials viewing. And what you'll see is there's my contact sheet. Now, how come it's in the middle of this? Well, what's happening is it's going to the end of the starred versions. Why? Because I'm still on sort by rating. If I were to go sort by file name again, you can see that this is kind of shown up at the top. Why it's not all the way at the top, I'm not quite sure. If I were to right-click it, now what I want to do is open with. You do not want to go to Adobe Acrobat Pro because that's the one that's been crashing. What we want is a program called Preview. Once I open that with Preview, there it is. It opens in Preview nice and fast. Now what you're going to do is you're going to print to the color printer. So I'm going to go File, Print, just like this. And then right here, it's going to always default to the black and white printer. So we want to click here where it says Printer, and you're going to go back down to the A2CLR. That stands for color. I think you probably figured that out. And then you just hit Print. It may take a while to print, so don't print again if it doesn't come out in 30 seconds or less, okay? It's a lot of information. It's a pretty big file. The printer has to chew on it. It has to send it to the printer. So I'm looking across the room right now. You see the printer is blinking. Okay, the little green light right over there is blinking on that big printer. That means it's chewing. Now it's starting to print. So it took, a good 35, 45 seconds or so. I don't know. I wasn't timing. To print it out. Don't get all impatient. The other thing is if everybody, thank you. It's printing one page at a time too. Can you see that? So The other thing is, don't get too impatient if everybody is printing and yours hasn't come out yet. Because it's got to do 20 of these things. It's going to take all period long to get them all done. Okay, so you got to be patient. Don't just hit print again, because guess what's going to happen? You're going to waste inks and paper. And if we run out of inks at the end of the year, guess what? We don't do more prints, especially for you guys who are semester 2. We don't do more prints because we don't have inks. So you guys got to be a little bit more, a little careful about that. Then what I want you to do is make sure your name's at the top, staple it, and hand it to me. Any questions? No? All righty, that's it.